Welcome everybody, EdBen24 here, and I'm doing issue 4 Ultimate Spider-Man Comics live reaction. So let's get into it. Um, wow, brilliant art style as usual. Brilliant art style. Um, yeah, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. Um, so let's get into it. Okay, so we're back at the academy, and basically this teacher is saying for everyone to calm down. Spider-Man's been shot. Um, so Miles has to scan the cover for him while he goes to investigate. So he springs into action. I kind of felt like they should have at least given him some kind of a mask. Like, it doesn't have to be Spider-Man even. He could have just like put on a bandana like over his mouth or like a ski mask. Or just like a shirt, he just like a ripped shirt, he just ties over his face, like just some kind of a mask. Yeah, so he wall crawls and he springs into action. Next page we see Green Goblin, I'm thinking. Spider-Man's fighting him, and we see Mary Jane. He throws a truck over Green Goblin, and it explodes, I think. Um, I don't understand why his spider sense didn't go off for that. Like, yeah, well, based on what I haven't read Ultimate Fallout. So yeah, no spider sense. So Miles goes, and he's too late. Peter's dying, as you can all guess. Mary Jane cries over him. Aunt May cries. We see Gwen Stacy crying. Miles talks to Gwen. Asks what his name was. Peter Parker, obviously. And then the next page is Gang tweeting an article about the death of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Miles blames himself for not being there, so there we go. So Gank Bros basically consults him, saying that maybe this is for the best. Maybe you were given your powers to be able to replace Peter Parker when he did die, and even if you had been there, what could you have done? You don't know how to use your powers, and how would you have fought Green Goblin? So basically, that's what he says. Maybe this is what you were chosen for. You're the new Spider-Man. So Judge walks in, and it's funny how they do comic relief with Judge. I find it kind of like not really funny, but it just makes comic relief. He says, "This is crazy. All the bridges are closed. Can we get the day off from school?" So yeah. Next panel, we open up to a cathedral. It's a cathedral kind of setting, but it's church, and it's the funeral of Peter Parker. We see Aunt May talking, and we see a girl who talks to Aunt May, asks, "Are you his mother?" "No, I'm actually his aunt, but I was pretty much a mother to him." Miles talks to Gwen Stacy, saying, "Why did he become Spider-Man?" Basically explains the death of Ben Parker and how Peter felt obligated to use his powers for the good of others as atonement for allowing the burglar who would eventually kill Ben Parker escape. So that's basically what she basically says to him. Miles begins to sketch out the new Spider-Man costume, black and red. This is what I would have done. Gank actually brings them a Spider-Man costume. No, I wouldn't have done that. I mean, you can get it, like, I wouldn't say immediately, but let's say for the first fight he has, he dons, like, a bunch of, like, black jeans, black shirt that really doesn't have the Spider-Man logo, and I'd say make him look like Spider-Man Noir. I love the design for Spider-Man Noir. I don't know why, but I just do. So I would give him that to start out with. First off, his first fight, he gets destroyed. Then he gets this costume from Gank. Obviously that gets destroyed also because, let's say, like, it's cheap fabric, or it doesn't fit him or something. Like, it doesn't fit him anymore. It got roasted or something. Like something like that. And then, like, when you eventually do, well, I'm spoiling too much later on. So yeah, he puts on a Peter Parker inspired costume, starts jumping around. He observes Kangaroo beating on some people. He springs into action. Kangaroo basically says like, "Wait a minute, you're alive? Aren't you dead?" Saying like, well, Miles really doesn't say anything witty. That's just feel like like he says witty stuff, but it's not really witty. It's more like to tick people off. Well, that's kind of Spider-Man too. All right, fine. He it's not witty, but it's kind of like passive witty. If that's even a thing. So he fights Kangaroo. As you can probably see, he gets smacked around a lot. Kangaroo pretty much owns him, and he disappears and dodges, and he uses Venom Blast or Venom Strike to knock Kangaroo out. So he basically hightails it out. And then he's basically saying, "Wow, this really was tiring, and like this costume's in bad taste." I don't know why they chose that, but like it's probably funny. It's just a nice running gag. Um, I would have said like I would have done something to the costume and say like has like being Spider-Man, like just calling yourself Spider-Man is bad taste. I would have done that for like maybe like the first 10 issues. I type of joke. Have someone say like, "You're Spider-Man now. Oh, you're dishonoring the dude. Like, what gives you the right to don a costume and call yourself Spider-Man?" So yeah. Next panel is Jenks is reading another article, and it basically says, "Spider-Man no more, please. Copycat hero rips up the city," and it's in really bad taste. He writes this article, Foswell. Uh, so yeah. So the judge is knocking on the door and wants to get in. The I'm assuming what is supposed to be an RA shows up and basically says, "Why did you lock the door?" Um, we didn't lock the door. It got stuck, and he said like, "No, it doesn't. You locked the door." And like, "What's going on in here?" And Miles is all coiffed and like so sly. He's like, "I'm reading. What's up?" Like, "The door doesn't lock. It's a fire. It's a fire hazard. If it's a fire hazard, put a fire escape on the dorms." Just say. Um, so yeah, Judge confronts him, saying like, "What's your deal, man?" Instead of like, "I'm tired." Miles is funny. So yeah, he basically says, "How can I be Spider-Man if I'm living under these conditions?" So he goes out, he's patrolling on like some gargoyle, standing there like Batman. So he jumps and he gets smacked around, and guess who it is? Yeah, Jessica Drew, Spider Woman, whose hair manages to be transparent through her mask for whatever reason, because Marvel was lazy with art. I'm kidding. Well, how is it transparent through the mask? I mean, is it a wig? Like, was that explained in Ultimate Cops? I don't think so. It's been a while since I read it. Yeah. She's basically wearing like this Venom inspired costume, like a Venom logo, kind of like Spider, but it's red. So, and she has like this hair. Like you don't really need to put the wig. You're like the wig or the hair. You really don't need to do that. But like we understand it's a woman. I mean like the body build, like the mannerisms, like you can like it's pretty safe to assume that she's a woman, and we know who she is anyway, so you don't really have to put the wig at all. So yeah, that's the end of issue 4. Um, yeah. So pretty solid. Um, 7.5 out of 10, maybe 8. I mean, it's solid, but it's not extraordinary. Um, the fight scene, wow. I know Miles eventually gets his web shooters, but I felt like they took too long for him to get the web shooter. Um, I felt like in this volume, you should have gotten the web shooter. That's how you should have ended it. This Miles like he gets his web shooter in first wing, swinging across New York City. Um, so yeah, that's issue 4. I plan to do issue 5 and then a volume 1 review. I want to get them all done today. I've uploaded one. I did issue 1 a few days ago. I did issue 2 and 3 today, and this should be issue 4 I'm uploading. So I want to do that. I want to do issue 5, and then hopefully I can do a volume 1 review and then my animated pitch thing. So I want to get that all done, like hopefully today or as late as Sunday. By like Sunday, I should have everything uploaded. So yeah, that's issue 4. I'll have everything uploaded as soon as I can. This has been NBN24 signing off.